Good morning. Thank you for joining me. Well, I would like to say I've had another beautiful, guilt-free morning. I stayed in my house dress. I sleep in these. I got them off of Amazon. They're long t-shirt dresses. And as soon as I ordered or went through the reviews, I knew I was going to order one because people said, oh, it's too thin to go in public and it comes all the way to the floor. It's too long. And oh, it's comfortable for laying around the house. And I thought, I'm going to get one and see if it's a nightgown for me, because that's exactly the look I was going for, long t-shirt dress type of nightgown. And they're pretty expensive if you get them from the nightgown section. And these were on sale for like $15, $16 a piece. Now they're 30 something because now a lot of people caught on to use them as a nightgown. I'm remembering this morning to use my Eucerin 30F SPF. Ugh. I hate using SPF. But this one doesn't hurt my eyes. It's the only one I've used since Neutrogena, and then Neutrogena changed their formula. I don't know. So, I like to touch base on a couple subjects. So I told y'all I shave my face with a regular razor. I don't invest in the little straight edge. And remember, men used to shave with straight edges, just like they shave with the 5-blade, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks, whatever they call them. And then women also have these other like battery operated little electric razors. So it's all the same tools that men use, but they feminized them, and which is kind of weird. The way they're designing them, offering them is really like they've only been out for the last 10 years. And then that straight edge one has been fairly new, in my relatively speaking. But I can tell you, women have been shaving their face with men's razors, whether it's been a straight edge or a shaver or an electric shaver, for years. They just don't go around talking about it. Just like women like me going through menopause. I mean, I've always been a hairy person. It's not thick. It looks thick. It's not thick. When it's wet or when it's straight, it's about this big at the base of my ponytail. That's a true story. But anyway, very hairy person. I've always had a lot of peach fuzz. Always. And my legs have had peach fuzz. They didn't start getting coarse and multicolored, gray, white, bristly until perimenopause. But I started getting goat hairs in my 20s. So I've been tweezing them and shaving them forever. So don't think, if you're on a budget, you don't have to get those expensive shaving tools. Just go, in my opinion, ask your doctor, because I'm not a professional, but just go get cheap razors. And if all you're doing is your face and peach fuzz, that razor's gonna last forever. I use Harry's razors, and one razor will last me months because I seldom shave my legs. Why bother? Frankie, what do you have? What is that? What is that? What you got? Go find. I don't know. He's got something. Sorry, I gotta go see what he's got. He's pretty clever. What did you find? What? Oh, no. You. Oh my goodness. You be good boy. Watch the house. Oh my gosh, you're not gonna believe it. He didn't damage it. He just, I don't know how he found this. He must have, oh, I know where he got it. Anyway, this is my dear sis, Chris, sent me these handmade coasters. Oh, thank goodness I saved it. Ah, he's such a good boy. Okay, so I'm gonna work outside today. Oh, I wanted to talk to you about something else that sometimes women fall for, spending so much money on women's products versus men's products. There are actually shower gels sold by the tub for less than a woman's shower gel in a very small container. And this is the truth. Products have to impress a man, because a man won't go back for seconds. It goes for products like shower gels, razors, and women. That's a true story. If a man doesn't like it, he won't try it again. Women, they'll go, well, it didn't work that one time. Maybe it was because, okay, I'll get it one more time. I know, not all women. I'm not saying, I am a woman, so I understand. But usually their stuff, men's stuff, is so much less expensive. Just like if you're looking for jeans to wear out in the yard or t-shirts to wear out in the yard, go look in the men's section. Half price. Long johns, sockets. Get the small. If you're a smaller size for women, you might have to get the extra small. But then they have a flexibility on sizes go, and they have thicker socks. Why? I don't know. Women's socks are like these little pantyhose. It's like, give me a little something between my foot and my shoe, not just pantyhose. But it's better than nothing. Okay, enough of that rant. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is, where's my foundation with sunscreen? There it is. I want to spend the day outside. That's what I want to do. It's only supposed to get to 84. The sky is beautiful. It's been rainy forever. This is more expensive. So I am going to use it on my fingers so there's less waste. And it's 50 sunblock. So the moisturizer I put on this morning was 30. This is 50. So we'll see what happens. They only have a few colors of this. And weirdly, even though it doesn't look like it's going to be a good color for me initially, as it starts oxidizing, it seems to do fine. Don't forget your ears. And since I'm going to be out in the yard, I don't think I'm going to spin this on my neck. I am just going to go ahead and use my 30 Sport ear neck. Yeah. And my hair's going to be up. And I don't want my hair to get any more white. So it gets a blast too. I'm not going to put any of it up in here because I sweat a lot. And I'm telling you, I get that sunblock in my eyes from, the sprays or something like this. The facial stuff so far has been pretty safe for me. Okay, so here's a topic that came up in therapy that I thought I would share with you. It's come up over and over and over again over time. And so I was really reflecting back on it. And one of the things that I've noticed is couples come into counseling often because of the amount of sex they're not having, don't want to have, wish they had, and try to have. Right? So one of the most common misconceptions is that I'm going to use this one, is that couples have sex all the time. Well, if you Google it, you're going to get a lot of different if you dig enough, you're going to get a lot of different feedback on that. See, this is a little more peach for the inside of my lip. But I'm going to wear it because of my t-shirt. I'm going to put this gloss on it. That'll soften it up. This gloss has a lot of color. And oh my goodness, that now almost matches perfectly. Oh, and if you ever have an emergency, look at that color. Let me see the... There we go. That's Wet and Wild. If you ever had an emergency party to go to, all you have to do is put this across your fingernails. I do this all the time. That big wedding that I went to recently, that's exactly how I handled it. Now, I took a little more time to get it off of my skin, but you get the idea. Just makes them shiny. Makes them look a little more finished. Now, I didn't use this color. I used this gloss. I had this in my little handbag, so every time I washed my hands, I could reapply. I know. Just go get your nails done. Well, just to get a simple manicure, my nails and my hair are so thin that the polish does not last long on me. Now from afar, from across the table, that looks pretty good. I'm just saying. Oh, this one was really great. This is LA Colors. This is my favorite. I've had this in here. I should have taken this one. It is really frosty. This is one of their oldies but goodies. The lid broke off. The lid used to look like this. Yeah. So it just gives you a nice little shine. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Okay, so back to sex. So people have this misconception about how often other people are having sex and how often they need sex. Very often, it's not about sex at all. It's about feeling left out. Well, so-and-so says they're having sex all the time. Well, people don't usually talk about their sex life unless they're a little tacky or unless they're a little new in the relationship. So it's all very exciting. unless they're competitive and they want other people to be jealous. There are lots of reasons people are going to talk about sex, but it doesn't usually have to do with an intimate, meaningful conversation. Let's just get that clear. The other thing is, sex most of the time starts dying off in about 4 months. 4 months to 18 months. But I would say 4 months because the brain now does not conceive newness. And that's why a lot of men have trouble settling down with one woman if they're in the wrong dating pool. It's because they want excitement. He's seeing a dog bark. He's seeing a dog out in the street. Okay. Poor baby. He's such a watchdog. Anyway, so really consider why someone's talking to you about their sex life. The other thing is, I have a little whiplash from the four-wheeler incident. Okay, so the reason why I'm sharing this with you is I have so many clients who really have not given themselves a chance to reevaluate from the inside what their sex life is like and if it's really okay for them. So, one of the things that I ask clients to make sure it's not a health issue or a resentment issue that's going on, is how long they've been together, what their work and stress life is about. And there's a list of oh gosh, you get points for however many life stressors you've had in the last 12 months. And very often people have had a lot of stress. And the other thing is, their age, their lifestyle, their nutrition. There are a lot of things going on. But the main thing is to help them understand that people lie about their sex life. That's just the bottom line. People lie about their sex life. They're not having sex 3 times a day 6 years into their relationship. Unless someone's a sex addict, something isn't shutting off in the brain. Because the body, very seldom, there are a few people who can actually, I forgot what it's called right now. I knew what it was the other day because it does come up. But where men can recuperate from an orgasm right away. The thing is, especially for women, is like video games or sugar. The more you get, the more your brain craves it. And that's why we also get men sex addicts. It's because the brain can very often get that. But just like alcoholics, not everybody's a sex addict because they get steady sex or steady alcohol, right? So the deal is, how much alcohol is a healthy, this is a good way to do it. How much alcohol is a healthy level of alcohol? Well, for most people, a glass or two of wine out with friends or shots or whatever is pretty good once a week, maybe twice a week. That's the truth. Most people, especially as they age, once or twice a month. It's pretty true. Because adults have all these other responsibilities. They already have the kids they want. They've already procreated. Oh, I finally want to give you my last review on this last sensation. Just not worth it. FYI. Don't like the wand. The product, the wand doesn't bend. The wand has that funny curve, and the brush is fat, so it's awkward to use. The product was nice, thick consistency upon opening. So as it was open a few weeks, it accelerated the texture very quickly to be too thick for me. Because usually I open it up, bend the nice thin wand. It's thin, so I can pile it on at first, and then after a couple weeks it starts thickening up. Then I can still use it, manipulate it well, then it's usually about perfect. And then it starts thickening up. And I use it for blotting in the base and using a fresh mascara on the rest. So my mascaras don't always last for a long time, but I know how to use them. I know the product. And I like to, I know how hard I want to work on my makeup. And I don't want to work that hard. I know what I like. And I love Q-tips. Oh, okay, back to you. Or anybody. So the thing is, there need to be other things that people are doing besides sex to get that quality touch. Whether it's just passing each other in the kitchen to say hello, just little love taps as you're clearing the table together, a neck massage, especially if you're taking a bath and you have a claw tub and someone can get behind it. Oh, I used to have the best claw tub. I miss that bathroom. And you could come up behind somebody and just massage their shoulders a little bit or massage their feet. Just sitting next to each other and holding hands or having your hand on the other person's lap. Because a lot of people get, like I get sticky palms. That's not an attractive feature for me. Sex therapists and counselors will lie about how important sex is. Sex is not as important to marriages. A lot of people divorce over one person or the other person not able to have sex. Now, I've helped a lot of couples be able to have sex again. I've helped a lot of couples be able to go from being unaroused to aroused, right? There's work that can be done to help with those levels of sex issues. But when somebody insists on getting so much sex that the other person feels uncomfortable, then that's a bigger issue. It's a bigger issue. For men, it's power and control. And sometimes it's a way to release stress. But the woman, the partner, the feminine, has to be able to feel generous enough to give that kind of stress release for her partner compared to saying, go play some football. Get on a bowling team. Take up running. I'm not going to have sex twice a day or every single day, especially when you expect me to perform. Now, if all you want is a quickie, lean me over the sofa, lift my skirt, and let's go. That's fine. Those are easy. But there are a lot of people, men and women, who think, well, I need more. I need this kind of foreplay, and they need this whole porn tape going on in their head. Honestly, most women are not like that. Most women who think they need that have been conditioned by these television shows. bless, bless, bless some of the clients that I've had who truly believe they have to behave like those women, or men. Mostly my work with this type of thing is with women. They get very insecure if their man isn't after them to do the deed, and they feel that if they're not sexually appealing to lots of men, then their man won't want them. It's true to a very small degree, but for normal range men, that's not, and women, that's not true. No man wants to go out in public and think he has to fight for his partner every single time they go out in public because she's dressed in a dangerous way. Sex is interesting, but it's not as complicated and fascinating as people think it is. It's been overrated for a long time. Well, I would say especially since the 60s, when it's been a great marketing tool. People have always wanted sex. People have done awful and wonderful things for sex. And it has also been a lovely addition to relationships. But it isn't as important as television, social media, podcasts, therapists, doctors think it is, or say it is. Because the truth is, sex is nice, really nice, at any age, as long as you appreciate it for what it is and don't make it into something it isn't, right? If that's all you have to focus on, life is sad because there's so much more to that. Just like if you use that as a template with alcohol, video games, fighting and arguing and fussing, butting into other people's business, anytime something becomes so important that it changes your life and narrows your life, it's addictive behavior at some level. It's not like, oh, you're a sex addict or, oh, you're an alcoholic. It's just like, maybe it's just super focused on. I don't know. I find it an interesting idea. I love studying neural pathways. I love studying, because I'm not just a counselor. I just love to study and figure it out and analyze it. Had I not liked working with clients so much, I would have gone into research, just because I like tracking how over time issues are resolved or not, and why. And if somebody will die being frustrated or worse. I don't know. Fascinating. That is a subject that is so overdone. There are people who have relationships with good enough partners, especially through COVID, and then find out, well, they wouldn't have sex with me. And that ended up putting a lot of fuel on embers, just tiny little embers. They weren't even little fires. They weren't even smoking. They were just the tiniest little embers that could have been resolved with time. But sex ended up being such a big deal. If someone didn't feel like it because they were depressed or what have you, and then they get overstimulated by contacting someone on a dating site just for entertainment purposes. Oh gosh. People will super focus on that activity, just like video games, instead of connecting on a deeper level. There are a lot of relationships that if people could get over the roadblock of sex, just with conversation, a little kiss on the forehead once in a while, learn how to do the little things that help satisfy someone's touch love language, in ways that don't necessarily have to do with intercourse or oral sex, that it can be accumulative little things instead of the big O, right? I think it's fascinating. Think about it. Think of a time when you might have been in a relationship when things were super focused on one particular behavior instead of talking about the deeper issues of, wow, what do I really need? And this happens especially with people who grew up in homes where they weren't satisfied. I get no satisfaction. What is that? Oh, I can't. Oh, Mick Jagger? I can't remember. Anyway, there were a lot of songs back in the day about not getting yours. That was back in the 90s, I think. 80s and 90s. But there are ways of getting satisfaction without getting what you think is the big O, the A++. There are lots of marriages that are destroyed because of marketing, especially around people who have mini strokes, who have chronic back, neck issues. Be careful of other people who say, oh, if you can't make love, what else is there? Especially if you don't get along very well. It's like, wait a minute. No, you got to start getting along better. And very often that comes with stop talking about sex. There are little ways. This is fun. There are little ways to get someone, if you're getting along fairly well, versus if you're not, you have to admit you're not getting along that well for these other reasons besides sex. Now, if you can get reparation, you can get these repaired with the use of a therapist or getting down and serious and loving and discussing things, and you kind of work through those issues over time. Excuse me. Over time, don't do it abruptly, because that's a problem. You can't give someone the impression, okay, now we're getting along, let's have sex. It doesn't usually work that way. First, you have to start building trust. And trust comes in little ways. Trust comes with thoughtful glances, connecting through thinking the same opinion and just looking at each other like, oh, did you see that? Yeah, I did too. Or, oh, wasn't that terrible on the news? And you make eye contact. Or, oh, look at that home run. Yeah. Little connections like that mean a lot. Or when you're doing dishes and he's like, hey, do you mind finishing up? And instead of giving him a look like, oh, this figures, you just look at him and say, oh, sure, I got it. Especially if he cooked dinner, get over that he's not helping you clean. One cooks, one cleans. You might do it together and do it together. But there's give and take, right? It's about not holding grudges. So those little things start building trust in the back of the head with the other person. Now, in some time, then you start flirting. Like, they say something, you're doing dishes, and you look over your shoulder and go, now that wasn't sexy. I'm not the prettiest person in the world when it comes to flirting. I mean, I look like a goofball when I flirt, right? But someone who loves you thinks it's adorable, right? Or you might be able to walk through the room and just kind of hike your skirt a few inches, not up to your ass. Or you might be walking through the room and just go, and keep walking. Little things like that. You can, when you're sitting and talking just about anything, you just gently touch yourself like that. Not on anything naughty, just little touches. Not all over your face. Just little parts of yourself, right? Not like this. Don't do that. They have to be super subtle. Super subtle. You get the idea. And believe it or not, when a man's confidence is built up, he's going to feel more apt to approach. And as for women, when women see, men don't need love. I love you, I love you, I love you, I told you I love you. What they need is respect. They need to know when they walk in the room, you care, right? Little things like that. When they leave the room, when they're coming in the room. Not necessarily talking a lot when they get home from work because they need time to compress. But when they walk in the room, they're like, hi, honey, can I get you some coffee? And maybe give them a kiss on the cheek. Great big hugs don't always work when they first come in. They feel like, I need to just decompress. Right? And then here you come at it. I know. It doesn't seem to make sense, but it's true. You would think that all women would be lesbian and all men would be gay, as weirdly as we're put together. You know, women want from men what they are themselves. So a woman would be a good match, you would think. I want them to be sensitive and open up and talk and want to go shopping with me. And it's like, okay, so you want a girl. So if part of you will accept the fact y'all are going to be different and you have to put more energy in there, right? I know this is some straight talk, but since you're not here talking with me, I'm just trying to put in as much information as I can if this is one of the struggles you're having. And for men need to understand that women need to feel valued. They need to feel needed. That's why it's important to check in with women, to thank them for doing dishes, for being a good housekeeper, for being a good mom, for, dang, you work, you come home, take care of the kids, and then you wrap your arms around me. What a beautiful woman you are. Meaningful compliments, not just, which, you know what, some of us are simple. Sometimes it's nice to just see nice ass. You know, women need to feel valued, needed. You can tell a woman, I just want him to say I love you, I love you. That's a woman who's starving. We all like to hear I love you, but that's a way a man, if he could hear I love you and it could actually mean I respect you, I appreciate you, he would feel bigger, bolder, sexier, right? I love you, I love you, I love you. It's like giving a man flowers. Enough is good. Get to know that person. Maybe they need it a little often than not. Who knows? But it's about getting to know the person. Women, they need to feel, so I call it suckling. It's like, they need to feel their man is attached to them, like their babies are. They need to know that he can't survive without her, that he needs her for lifeblood. I know that's a little drama, but that's how feminine women are. Somewhere in that range. Well, I don't hear from him all day. Oh, all the women, you would think they'd know if your person is working, making a living, having to talk to different people, present themselves at a certain level, every time they get out of that box and go back home, even if it's in a text message or a phone call, it shifts the box and then they have to get back in this other box. It's not that easy all the time for humans to do that. Men are much better at it than women are. Women are like computers. They have all these screens open and they can switch around. Men, they need to put this in a nice neat box, this in a nice neat box. So if your man is texting you during the day or giving phone calls, that's huge. But are they getting extra credit for that? Got to give them extra credit for that. You got to give treats to reinforce the behavior that you want to see. Um, that's showing them respect. Yeah. And showing a woman love is making it look like you need her. I mean, we all need each other to a certain extent, but most of us aren't going to die without the other person. But people with attachment or disorders or attachment issues or attachment struggles, attachment challenges, because of their childhood, they need to know they matter. They need to feel seen. They need to feel valued. And any chink in their armor is going to hurt. Any compliment not said is going to hurt, or praise or appreciation. So think about it. There are several books that you can use to help improve relationships, especially with your partner. There's a book, please don't judge, but there's a book called How to Talk to Your Kids So Kids Will Listen. How to Talk to Your Teen So Teens Will Listen. I think that was the one that I liked. Anyway, one or both of those will help teach you the simplest, most loving and supportive ways to communicate with someone if you're not ready to be sweet. But even if you are ready to be sweet, follow those rules, because they apply to humans of any age that have been emotionally discharged. There's also a book called Nonviolent Communication, a Language for Life. So be careful not to get the workbooks. But that book gives a lot of different scenarios, and it sounds oversimplified for adults, but it is not. Like I said, just like the How to Talk to Kids So Kids Will Listen, that is exactly what people need to feel safe in relationships. Then there's a book called For Women Only, For Men Only, and it's written by, it's a Christian book. So if Christianity offends you, try to snap out of it and just don't read those parts. Just skip over those words. But I think it's very valuable book. It's simple to read, easy to read, small books. Sometimes you can get them together. They're written by Shanti, Shaunti Fledham, something like that. That's close. And it can tell you kind of some of the scenarios that I was describing about what women need and what men need. And I always recommend couples to read it together, or to at least both of you read both books, so you can see yourself and you can see the other person. And those books are always on point. I have, whether I'm working with same-sex relationships, trans or straight or poly relationships, it helps. It just helps, because you can talk about feelings all day long. Oh my God, just stop. Sometimes we just need simple math, go back to basics, being polite, being clear, say what you mean what you say, don't say it mean, and flirt just a tiny bit. Oh, that's all I got for today. I have to now. I was active this morning. I sat here and got stiff. Especially my neck and upper back. This is one of my Temu headbands. Oh, you know what? I have to take that Temu off of my phone. I have to get rid of that app. I'm spending way too much money there. And honestly, it's not one of the things I know. It should be fairly easy to return things, with their process. I mean, they hardly ever say no, I guess. I don't know. They haven't said no to me yet. But the problem is, when you go to return things, you have to fill out this whole form. that's basically what Amazon asks for, but they almost always ask for a photo of the item. I guess to make sure that you didn't overuse it before you decided to return it, which would be kind of naughty. But anyway, so I have to take a picture with my phone, send it to myself in emails, transfer it to my desktop, and then upload it on their program. So it's like, I don't know, because shoes fit a little different in every brand. And I just ordered the cutest little fancy tennis shoes. Oh my God. I'm going to go get them. I'll be right back. Oh, they're having a meeting in the other room. I'll have to get them back to you. I'll do another video on it. Anyway, I love you guys. Be easy on yourself. Calm down. Don't take life so seriously. Let up a little bit. And relationships don't have to be perfect to benefit from them. They don't have to be perfect to benefit from them, especially if you yourself have health issues, you yourself have finance issues, you yourself have attachment issues, right? Some people say, I think my godmother said this one time when I started getting involved with a man before I was completely divorced. We had been separated. We had been through mediation and it was so sad. And I was just finally starting to heal, and I met this very sexy man. And I said, I feel so guilty. I'm trying to stay away from him, but we know some of the same people. And she said, sometimes you need to build a bridge before you can jump off the old one. You know, a safety net. Because it's hard to have a broken heart and be all alone. And that was something that was terrifying for me, even though the marriage was so just constantly frustrating. Because of my attachment style issues, challenges, at that time, I was terrified to be alone. And it was helpful. I'm sharing this with you because it took a long time for me to recognize that I was not giving enough. I wasn't giving enough in intimate relationships. And I was picking relationships that were echoing my childhood. So if you have that frustration, get a therapist, a couples therapist, or if the relationship's already broken up, get a therapist for yourself just to talk about what that whole relationship looked like. Because sometimes you can get more information to make the next relationship more meaningful on a deeper level. As well, it might help you recognize a good enough situation. Not everybody needs that heavy marketing type of blast relationship. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes settling is a good idea because things can get better down the road. Calm down. I'm not saying everybody should settle and be in an unhappy relationship. Oh, hell no. I'm just saying when you have someone who has health issues, personality issues, attachment issues, financial issues, then there's issues in the world with stress. If you have someone that has some of the same moral and ethical standards that you do, if they're not physically hurting you, if they are bringing in any revenue, or if they are protecting you, or if they do household chores, if they cook, if they clean, chores, yeah. If they mow, you know, take an inventory on what they're actually doing for you and learn to respect and appreciate that. If they're mentally a jerk, if they physically can't participate in life very well with you, but they have a lot of these other things going on, sometimes it's a good trade, or good enough trade. Yeah. And then with spiritual conditioning, spiritual growth, spiritual insight, you can find a way to find joy in life, to appreciate the little things that are worth so much. Check this out. I was out on my front porch. I have a little stoop with a couple chairs there in my little garden. I've shown it to you before. But the yard has been sprayed like 3 times in the last month to get rid of fleas. And I was sitting out there sipping my coffee, watching the dogs play. And all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, oh my God, and I always do. I love this so much. But usually I'm fighting mosquitoes, which doesn't give that, you know, takes down the joy a little bit. I mean, seriously, mosquitoes. Ugh. And it's rained for days here. So I was sitting there and I was thinking, wow, I haven't had to shoo away one mosquito. Now, I don't know about you, but I think the Tennessee state bird is the mosquito, because my God, we have a lot of them. No, that's Florida. I'm sorry, their mosquitoes are worse. I have to admit that. But man, it was nice. Not one mosquito bite. The other day, where was I? I had an ant crawl up my ankle. Oh, yeah, I was at a picnic. So anyway, now I'm just yapping. I need to get out of here and get outside. Wish you could come outside with me. All right. Love you. Bye for now. Oh, there we go.